When your boss breaks the rules. My $20,000 employment wake-up call. What would you do if you discovered your employer had been illegally underpaying you by over $20,000? That's exactly what happened to me, and the way I found out will shock you. If you're feeling uncertain about job security right now, this story could save you thousands. Hi there, I'm Christine, and today I'm sharing one of the most devastating discoveries of my career and how it taught me that sometimes the biggest threat to our financial security come from the people we trust the most. This isn't just my story, it's a cautionary tale about why you need to know your employment rights, especially when life has already knocked you down. Let me take you back to February 2021. Picture this. You've just bought your dream block of land. Construction is underway, and then, boom, your builder goes into liquidation. Not just any setback, but a complete financial catastrophe that would haunt us for 4 years. What followed was a nightmare of insurance battles, trying to find a builder willing to take on a half-finished project, and watching our savings evaporate. We ended up having to borrow money from my parents just to keep our heads above water. The stress was crushing, and I was barely holding it together. By May of 2024, I thought we were finally seeing light at the end of the tunnel. That's when I made the decision that would change everything. I decided to be vulnerable with my employer and what we'd been going through. On May 8th, 2024, I sat down with my managers and did something I'd never done before. I opened up about our financial struggles. I told them about the builder, the insurance nightmare, and borrowed money. I was asking for understanding, maybe flexibility. I thought I was talking to people who cared. Instead, what happened felt like a betrayal that cut deeper than any financial loss. Just weeks later, I was called into another meeting. This time, the message was different. Due to reduced workload, your hours are being cut to 2 days per week. Not a discussion, not a negotiation, a done deal, then confirmed via email. I was devastated. Here I was, already in survival mode from 4 years of financial hell, and now my income was being slashed in half. But here's the thing. I was so overwhelmed, so focused on just getting through each day, that I didn't question it. I just accepted it and tried to figure out how we'd survive on even less money. Fast forward to August 2025. The company announces restructuring and potential redundancies. Suddenly, I'm forced to look at my employment situation properly for the first time in over a year. That's when I started digging into my payslips, and what I found made my blood run cold. My leave entitlements weren't calculated correctly, my contract had been changed without my written consent, something that's actually illegal under employment law. But the most devastating discovery was yet to come. I found out on the 7th of August 2025 that the same manager who had cut my hours due to reduced workload had actually been working an excessive amount of overtime. Let that sink in. While I was struggling to pay our mortgage on 2 days' pay, she was getting paid overtime for doing what was supposed to be my work. When I finally calculated the impact, the numbers were staggering. Over $20,000 in incorrect entitlements, underpayments, and lost wages. $20,000 that should have been in our bank account during one of the most financially stressful periods of our lives. But here's what really gets me. This wasn't just about the money. This is about trust, about taking advantage of someone when they're at their most vulnerable. I had shared my struggles in good faith, and instead of support, I was manipulated into accepting illegal contract changes because I was too overwhelmed to fight back. This experience taught me 3 crucial lessons that I want every one of you to remember. First, employers count on your ignorance. They know most people don't understand employment law, and they exploit that. Even good employers can make mistakes that always seem to favour them. Second, your vulnerability is not a reason to accept illegal treatment. When life is overwhelming, that's exactly when unethical people will try to take advantage. Don't let survival mode blind you to your rights. Third, documentation is everything. The only reason I could prove what happened was because I kept every payslip and email. Your employer's mistake becomes your problem if you can't prove it. The most important lesson: knowledge is your greatest protection. The moment I understood my rights, everything changed. When I went from victim to advocate, from hopeless to empowered. Here's what I want you to do right now, especially if you're feeling uncertain about your job security. Get a copy of your employment contract, not just your offer letter, your actual contract. Understand your award or enterprise agreement. These set minimum standards your employer must follow. Keep records of everything: payslips, emails, any changes to your role or hours. Know your rights around contract changes. They need your written agreement, not just your silence. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If something doesn't feel right, investigate it. But here's the game changer. If I had known then what I know now, there's one simple question that would have stopped this entire nightmare in its tracks. 5 words that have more power than you can imagine. Does this comply with Fair Work? That's it. 5 words. And here's how I know that this works. Another employee was also told to reduce their hours around the same time as me. But when they asked this one question, guess what happened? The whole conversation was dropped. They kept their full entitlements, their full salary, everything. Think about that for one moment. Same company, same managers, same reduced hour excuse, but one person asked about Fair Work compliance and suddenly there was no problem with their workload anymore. This proves they knew exactly what they were doing was wrong. They were just hoping I wouldn't know enough to call them out on it. If you're going through job insecurity right now, I know it feels overwhelming, but please don't make my mistake of just accepting whatever you're told. Your rights don't disappear because you're stressed or scared, and sometimes the most powerful weapon you have is simply knowing the right question to ask. So, where am I now? I've contacted the Fair Work Ombudsman, and honestly, their response was less than helpful. I've drafted an email to the current CFO, and I have employment lawyers on standby if needed. My next step is having that conversation with the CFO, and I'll be honest, I'm terrified. But here's what's really messing with my head. I keep asking myself, was this the company's culture? Or just 2 bad managers who have no longer work there? My mind is still spinning, trying to understand why anyone would do this to someone they knew was already struggling financially. The hardest question I'm facing now is, do I stay or do I go? Can I continue working for a company that broke my trust so fundamentally? Or do I chalk this up as toxic individuals who are now gone and try to rebuild that trust? I don't have those answers yet. What I do know is that I'm going to resolve this situation first, get what I'm owed, and then decide if I can move forward with them or if it's time for me to move on entirely. I'll keep you posted on how this unfolds because I think it's important to see these situations through to the end, not just the discovery, but the resolution. For now, I just want to put this nightmare in the rearview mirror and reclaim the financial security that was taken from me. Whether that's with this company or somewhere new, that's a bridge that I'll cross when I get there. Remember, financial security isn't just about budgeting and saving. It's about protecting yourself from people who would steal from you, even when they're signing your paychecks. Don't let your vulnerability become their opportunity. Stay empowered, stay informed, and remember, you're stronger than you think, even when life tries to tell you otherwise. If you're new to my channel or returning for fresh insights, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Until next time, I'm Christine. Thank you for committing to a life of freedom, choice, and abundance through financial literacy. Until next time, bye for now.